So before we start talking about today's gem, I've got a sweet little gem. Okay, a gem is not a guarantee. A gem doesn't make you a millionaire. A gem is just simply a gem. Before I share this little beauty with you, okay, this little diamond in the rough, I want to talk about the victims, the people who are suffering right now from Hurricane Laura. It's one of the most powerful hurricanes that hit the southern United States in over 100 years. It was pretty damn devastating. We're just now finding out the extent of the damage. So those who watch my channel who are impacted in Alabama, Louisiana, Texas, and some parts of Florida, I just want you guys to know I am thinking about you. I want you guys to know that I wish you guys the best, and I hope you recover from this as fast as possible. All right, guys? So I just want to wish you guys as much luck as possible. Okay, switching gears, getting back into crypto. Something else you need to do is make sure you smash the subscribe button, hit that bell notification, likes, comment, the whole 9 yards, okay? We got to talk about some real beauties today, some real head knockers. While we're seeing the cryptocurrency market kind of taper off, cool down, the price of Bitcoin dipping, there's something that you guys need to realize. Majority of the volume, the liquidity, the price action that you're seeing in altcoins and Bitcoin right now comes from DeFi. While that market, while the market of Bitcoin, altcoins, and traditional cryptocurrencies takes a break, while it consolidates, while people sell and pull profits, something happens in the DeFi world. Let me show you. The DeFi world breaks freaking records. $7 billion in TVL right now. Total value locked in the DeFi ecosystem. I told you this in my previous video that I suspect that even if Bitcoin were to dip, you're going to see an increase in the DeFi community. I feel like DeFi is going to become its own little thing, its own little world, its own little, I hate to say this damn word, but shit, here we go, tribe. I know the word tribe is like the most toxic thing you can say in crypto, but how else do you describe this right now? The mindsets, the philosophies, the perspective of those who play in DeFi are greatly different than those who do traditional trading with cryptocurrencies, altcoins, and Bitcoin. I'm telling you, the mindsets are different. It really is. Because if you talk to someone who's a traditional trader, someone who sits there, does leverage trading, altcoin trading all day long, and you talk about DeFi platforms, it's hard for them to say that DeFi is not a scam or a Ponzi or something illegitimate. Whereas most of the DeFi guys, you talk to them, you talk about altcoins, Bitcoin, and all the rest of it, they all openly will tell you, well, listen, altcoins are cool, you can make money. But the simple fact about altcoins is it's all synthetic. It's a synthetic layer, it's synthetic BS, and it's predatory. That's basically the two different sides of it. So I mean, it's almost like there's a divide there. So it's very cool. Now I want to talk about something before we get into the gems. Bitcoin pops and drops after Powell introduces average inflation targeting. If you missed this news, let me put myself out of the picture for a second. This is the punchline. This is all you need to know right here. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell, while speaking at Central Bank's annual Jackson Hole event, said that the central bank will now be willing to allow inflation to run higher than the 2% target before raising interest rates. Now, I want to know, I could probably read a lot of your minds, especially those who have been in the cryptocurrency space a long time. You're thinking moon, you're thinking Lambos, you're thinking mansions, you are thinking I'm rich. Well, I want to play with this for just a second, okay? So we know that in the world of traditional finance, right now, one of the biggest commodities that they treat like Bitcoin is gold. There are far much more gold derivatives than there actually is physical gold. We are talking a monstrous amount. We're not talking like double. We're not talking triple. We're talking a serious, crazy amount. I used to know this number, and I did a gold segment, but I can't remember what it is. But it's not a little. It's a big number. It's a big gap between physical and derivative gold. That same thing exists for Bitcoin, okay? And this is an important conversation. So the price of gold and the price of Bitcoin are both tied to USD. Gold, okay, we're going to use gold. Here's a reference. The purpose of a lot of these guys using derivatives is they don't really want to manage the gold. They don't care about the physical gold. They're not going to spend their physical gold. They just want to bet on the price because they want to extract as much USD value out of that gold as possible, which is the same reason why they created Bitcoin derivatives. They don't care for physical Bitcoin. They don't care to own Bitcoin. They don't believe in the philosophies of Bitcoin. They simply want to extract as much USD value out of that Bitcoin derivative as possible. So that all being laid out, if this inflation happens, right, this crazy hyperinflation, as we can see, Bitcoin did react a little bit to that news. You see this pump right here, and then it did dump. But if inflation happens and the US dollar does collapse, what is your Bitcoin going to be worth? You got to remember, the price of gold is tied to USD, oil, USD. Many currencies around the world are anchored to USD. If USD were to fall apart, so does global currencies. We're all tied together. There's only like one country as an exception to that rule. It's probably North Korea, to be completely honest, because their ecosystem is completely separate from the world. And that actually gives them more strength. Hate to say that, but it's true. But if the US dollar were to just fall apart and collapse, what is your Bitcoin worth? Let's talk about gold for a second. A lot of people say, you'll measure. I've had this answer, okay? This is ridiculous as it sounds. Someone had told me one time, well, they're going to use gold as a benchmark. Okay, so how do you quantify how much gold is Satoshi's gold worth? Okay, if I was to say, okay, how much gold, US dollar has failed. US dollar does not exist. That means all other currencies around the world have also fallen apart. They're worthless. They are dog shit. Okay, remember that. They're all dog shit. So here's Satoshi's skull. How much gold is worth Satoshi's skull? And when you scale the value of what this skull is worth, you also have to scale that value into, say, what is this cell phone worth? Okay, so there has to be a proportion. There has to be a value, established quantitative value for it. Now, the same thing applies to Bitcoin. How do you establish that value? The value has been in USD. The whole purpose for many people hodling and buying Bitcoin is to extract as much USD as possible. So now if that goes out of the picture, how are you going to buy that Lambo? How are you going to get that mansion? How are you going to be that millionaire? These are all questions that I've never, ever had a single retail investor being able to answer. Most retail investors give me some stupid answers, and I'm not trying to be an asshole when I say this, like, oh, it's going to tie it to the yen. They're going to tie it to a different currency. Wrong. The one reason we haven't had another world war is because of the fact that we are so tied together. Our economies are we are threaded together. If US dollar fails, it's going to drag down the rest of the world with it. Okay, so think about that for a second. What do you tie it to? I've only had one good answer, and I'm not going to give you that good answer. I want to see if you guys can answer that. But this is just a fun thought for now. So let's go ahead and move on and talk about some gems. First gem, and I know this is not DeFi. Okay, this is not DeFi, but to me, this has always been a sexy little gem. I've supported these guys, both these guys, since like what? 2 years now, going on a year and a half, 2 years, something like that. Crypto.com and Unstoppable Domains. So now you can get a blockchain domain, right, using your Crypto.com pay and get a 30% off and 10% back. That is insane, guys. That is like the deal of the century, especially for the whole Unstoppable Domain thing, which is really gaining traction, which you're seeing more wallets like Coinbase Pro implementing this. Okay, I mean, this is getting big. This is getting big, and it's simplifying the whole cryptocurrency aspect. It's taking away one of the pain points. This is a big deal. This, in my opinion, is a gem. Okay, so we're gonna move on to other gems. I guess this next part. How about this? Let's not call this gem. Let's call this. Let's call this Rumor Alley. Okay, we're gonna call this Rumor Alley. I've heard rumors, and I'm gonna share the rumors with you guys. This doesn't make me popular with some of the insiders, but I'm just gonna tell it with some of the rumors. First rumor that I have heard. Okay, not confirmed. I have zero evidence, zero proof, zero inside knowledge. Just rumors, sources are reliable, that this coin Sudorusu, which I've actually promoted before, I used to love to stake them, but everyone else started staking them also. Their staking rewards used to be good. Don't stake them now. They're not as good as they used to be. But the rumor is they are going to get some sort of Binance listing coming up. So that's something to keep your eyes on. I don't think it's priced in yet. They did have a recent pump in there, so just keep your eyes on that. Maybe it's true. Maybe it's not. Next rumor is this right here, Spirix SPA. Let me give this thing a quick refresh. It's up 46.5%. I have not bought any yet. This, like, remember how I told you guys about Parsec? I told you guys about Haka. Okay, I told you guys about OPT. All of which have done well. I told you guys about them as early as I could. Now, SPA is something that I am seeing talked about in DeFi groups. Okay, I look for the things that I see a lot of people mention. Like if I see it mentioned 3, 4, or 5 times, then I need to go. I know I need to go and take a look at it and see what it may be and should I put my money in it. This one right here, SPA, I have done very little diligence. I've actually just done basic stuff, basic website browsing. I haven't really done a deep dive into the team. Very basic, kind of like doesn't really, I don't know, doesn't really excite me. I mean, it seems like I have some good tech and some good ideas. But I gotta say, I am impressed with the fact that I've never heard about them before, and I'm seeing more people in the DeFi trading group starting to talk about them. They have a trading volume of about 13 million. Their market right now is all shit exchanges, guys. I mean, Gate.io, Hotbit, Bloxy, MXC, Bitset, EXX, Who.com. Evidently, I'm guessing somebody leaked something somewhere, and there's a tier 1 exchange listing coming up. So, I mean, tier 1 exchanges typically result in pumps. This might already reflect it, so it might already be priced in, but I'm only sharing it because the source, again, is reliable about this one getting an exchange listing. So definitely keep your eye on this one. This right here could be a gem. This one right here could be a gem, so take a look at it. I haven't bought into it. I personally need to weigh out if I think that it has already been priced in for the exchange listing. Okay, so 46.5% could be too late. Potentially could be too late. But if it's a Binance listing, it could pump another 40, 50, 60%. So, I mean, you get what I'm saying? There's a risk factor here. This right here, if I do dive into this, this is going to be like a low risk factor thing. I'm thinking maybe an ETH or 2 ETH, because, I mean, if I can double or triple my ETH, I won't complain. That's extra money. That's free money. Next thing I want to talk about here is Zapper.fi. Zapper closes a $1.5 million seed round led by High Framework with participation from Libertas Capital. So Zapper is got something pretty cool. It's something right now that Zapper has that allows you to manage all your DeFi assets and liabilities, and it gives you a simple interface. A single one place that you can go to manage all your DeFi. I was actually just talking to a friend yesterday asking him, does this exist? Because this is needed, especially if you're heavy in DeFi and you're playing a lot of things. It is a pain in the nuts to manage this. So Zapper is a tool that makes it easy. I actually just found out about this about an hour or so before the video, so I have not tried it yet. I'm sharing it with you because those who shared it with me are also DeFi dogs. Okay, they're big into this stuff, and they swear by it, and they say they've been using it. So the people that have introduced this to me are reliable. They've not steered me wrong yet. Next gem we need to talk about: Polkadot-based Acala raises $7 million as DeFi grabs land on other blockchains. So right now, if you try to go out there and say you're playing DeFi and you need to go and do some transactions, you need to do some swaps, you need to go ahead and provide some liquidity, whatever it may be, gas is very, very expensive. I have seen gas fees as high as $1,000 per transaction. I have seen that. It is insane. I know someone who has spent about $8,600 in gas. Actually, someone else I know has spent a total about $80,000 in gas. So, I mean, you know, it's just some serious shit here. Okay, this is expensive. This is an expensive ass freaking playground. You know what I mean? So, Polkadot, we need another place. We need another place to play DeFi, because here's a thing that I don't like about DeFi. DeFi is not inviting to most of the people who are watching this right now. Most of you watching this right now want to play in DeFi, but not to sound like an asshole, it's hard to afford. It's very expensive. Many people are trying to get into this because they're trying to maximize their gains, make some money, but then again, you have to spend a shit ton of money in your Ethereum to lock in these trades, lock in these swaps, lock in the liquidity, get the loan. It's very, very frustrating. So Polkadot and Acala, the whole 9 yards, this is going to be good. Now, Acala is something you should definitely take a deep dive into, because I have a feeling this is going to be a DeFi changer. Now, one more thing about Polkadot. A new Polkadot to Ethereum bridge could enable cross-chain DeFi composability. That is huge. If you could get the Polkadot Ethereum DeFi bridge into the ecosystem, those gas fees go straight down. It makes the DeFi ecosystem healthier. It gives it a more robust ability. You get what I'm saying? To have that bridge, to utilize a Polkadot with Ethereum. Get some options. Options are always better than being stuck with one chain. Now, Ethereum, okay, no doubt about it, Ethereum is the Mac Daddy when it comes to the technological aspect and the partnerships and some of the solutions. That's why they utilize Raven and Wrapped ETH, Wrapped Bitcoin, so on and so forth to kind of solve some of these problems to the best of their ability. But the truth is, it's not slowing down. DeFi is doing nothing but gaining more and more traction. It is almost unstoppable at this point, and it is very expensive. So stuff like this, in my opinion, is a big deal. Now, what does this mean for Polkadot? Polkadot based Acala, and then Polkadot has a solution to bridge the whole Ethereum DeFi ecosystem into it. What does this mean? We all know that Polkadot has been making some serious moves. It is of my opinion, okay, that Polkadot has a lot more to go. There's more things that Polkadot's fixing to introduce. I have a feeling the next week or so, maybe a few days, there's going to be a massive bomb dropped by Polkadot that is going to change not just how DeFi is done and where DeFi can be done, but it is going to change developers. It's going to be something that developers are going to fall in love with, and it's going to be a conversation that developers have a lot of, which is good for Polkadot. Because if developers don't like you, if developers don't prefer your chain, right? I mean, what are you building? What the hell are you building? So, think about Ethereum. Developers loved it, built on it, created ecosystems off of it. I mean, it's its own world. Polkadot is doing the same thing, and they want to be that realm that developers love and want to build on. So, this could be very exciting. I'm not saying go buy Polkadot. You buy Polkadot based off of your own risk management. Buy responsibly. You do not buy shit just because you saw it in a YouTube video. Buy it responsibly. All right, guys, listen, that's all I have for today. Hope you enjoyed today's video. Please, someone give me a good answer as to, the price of what Bitcoin is going to be worth if US dollar does collapse and everything collapses with it. I'm really curious to see what you guys have to say. Anyhow, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace out.